I want the whole world in the palm of my hand. I got a plan, I'm the man. Now I'm teaching the game, a veteran, better than anybody else who tests me. I'm ready, looking at my hand and it's steady. I'm trending, ascending and blending, lyrical bending. Now I'm spreading and getting my name out now. Yeah, they hearing me laugh, all the crowds repping the sound. I'm hitting the ground, running, up and coming, ain't nothing. Yeah, rookie of the year, I'ma keep it 100. Cold-blooded, no budget, from nothing to something. I ain't bluffing, I got a full hand and a full plan. I ain't gonna stop till I'm at the top, man. Every single drop got me feeling awesome. I'm about to pop, started from the bottom, yeah. I wanna live, I'm cold inside. Give all I have just to feel alive. I fight to live, I fight to strive. One day I'll have what I want in life. Girl, you got me shook from the way your body looks. Got me riding hooks, got me feeling like a rook. I don't do it by the book, but for you I'll take a look. Don't know what your mama took, sweet and spicy like a cook, yeah. I'll keep it real, let's make a deal. Buy you a meal if you just let me feel. Get out your heels, grab on the wheel. Back to my place at the top of the hill. Don't have regrets, I know what's next. She need a fresh, I'll be back in a sec. Look at them legs, don't make me beg. Back to the room, let me show you my bed. Yeah, your body feels like taking on a drug. You got me feeling good, yeah, you got me feeling numb. Everything you do, I can't seem to get enough. You got me feeling good, yeah, you got me feeling numb. Touching on your body feels like taking on a drug. You got me feeling good, yeah, you got me feeling numb. Everything you do, I can't seem to get enough. You got me feeling good, yeah, you got me feeling numb. I could look at you all day, watch the way them hips sway. Love your body, so I pray, don't you dare take it away. Can't control what I say, lost my mind cause your frame. Hey girl, what's your name? Lit me up just like a flame. Body in motion, I feel the commotion, beyond you like lotion. I'm honest and broken, I flow like the ocean. I feel you were chosen to fix me, I'm broken. My heart that you stolen, hey. Stay with me, play with me, lay with me. Hate to see when you leave, chemistry feels like it's destiny. I just want you laying next to me, and I really don't want you to ever leave. On your body feels like taking on a drug. You got me feeling good, yeah, you got me feeling numb. Everything you do, I can't seem to get enough. You got me feeling good, yeah, you got me feeling numb. Touching on your body feels like taking on a drug. You got me feeling good, yeah, you got me feeling numb. Everything you do, I can't seem to get enough. You got me feeling good, yeah, you got me feeling numb. Girl, you got me shook from the way your body looks. Got me riding hooks, got me feeling like a rook. I don't do it by the book, but for you I'll take a look. Don't know what your mama took, sweet and spicy like a cook, yeah. I'll keep it real, let's make a deal. Buy you a meal if you just let me feel. Get out your heels, grab on the wheel. Back to my place at the top of the hill. Don't have regrets, I know what's next. She need a fresh, I'll be back in a sec. Look at them legs, don't make me beg. Back to the room, let me show you my bed. Yeah, your body feels like taking on a drug. You got me feeling good.
All right, hey guys, good evening. Glad you guys are here. So, I was just updating my, the bar at the bottom here, my little ticker, making sure you guys are aware of what's happening. It's nice to see everybody here tonight. Tonight, the focus is going to be defensive linemen. But it can really be just an open discussion with questions and answers. You guys can ask me anything you want, and I will do my best to answer the question, with a certain amount of accuracy and delicacy, and maybe some aggression. I'll try to spare you guys with all the analogies I use whenever I talk. I'm the master of trying to apply analogies to certain situations, and people just hate it. People just hate it. But we'll go to the chat. You guys know the deal. We'll discuss things back and forth, and I will do my best to talk to you guys about every aspect. So tonight the theme is defensive linemen, but before we get into that, I'm going to tell you what happened here today in the transfer portal. So some big news for Colorado. They obviously got E.J. Horton, Mr. 4.3. If you didn't know, he runs a 4.3 40. Now, he only had 12 receptions this year. He didn't have a ton of production at Marshall, and that's okay. He didn't have Shedeur Sanders throwing to him. Now, E.J. Horton, he wanted that juice. You guys ever heard somebody say, I want the juice? I want all the smoke? He wants all the smoke. He knows who's at the team. He knows who plays for Colorado. He knows the position group of wide receiver is loaded. It's much more loaded than it is at Marshall. And he still took it upon himself to say, I want to play for Coach Prime. I want to be around those dogs. That's a remarkable thing. You got to commend that. Now, I'm dragging a window across because I want to be able to read your guys' chat cleanly. So, evening to everybody. Shout out to the 24 of us that are here. The numbers will go up. We're about to blow. Straight up. That's real. Give me a second. I'm trying to adjust it so the chat will come up on my screen properly. I'm not really good with minimizing these things. I only have 2 monitors, man. I wish I had more. Not really. I don't have the desk space for it. So let's go. Hi, Mr. Rico. Shout out to you, Mrs. Kim Jones, the most beautiful one here. Shout out to you, Bankroll. Thanks for being here. What up, Rico and everybody? Shout out to you, Southern Heat. I appreciate you, man. Is Jalen Gill still in the portal? Can't find anything on him. He's a wide receiver from Boston College. And what about Agiye Hall from Texas? Where did he end up? Okay, so both these questions were answered just the other day. I believe last night this time. I talked about all wide receivers and tight ends last night. So there is a live stream. I could be Rico and be like, man, just go watch my content. Go learn. The short answer is yes, they're both still in the portal. They're both available. One's going to be more available than the other. Agiye Hall is going to be waiting for a while. I don't know if anybody wants to give him an offer. He has some baggage, has some character concerns. He got arrested at Texas for criminal mischief. He got suspended at Alabama for just being a knucklehead. And I'm going to tell you guys, he missed a lot of practice. He missed a lot of time. I can remember his father on Twitter telling people to eat a dick. His father was saying some outrageous stuff on Twitter. If that's the man that set the standard that you're trying to achieve and emulate, I'm kind of concerned for you. So I'll say this. I always say something positive about players in the transfer portal. I am an advocate for players in the transfer portal and utilizing it to find the best situation for themselves. The only time I say something negative about a player is when there's a character concern. And the negative thing will be warranted. It will be confirmed. But it will never be off rumor. So I think Agiye Hall's not a student athlete. And that's just my 2 cents. Easy Sunrise, Rico in the lab, mastermind. Appreciate you, man. I was having a conversation with Kim Jones earlier. And Kim was sitting here, and she says, Rico, I'm not kidding. You are the most brilliant mind I've ever known, whatever. And I told her, I don't have a photographic memory. I can retain a ton. My shopping cart is huge. I can throw a lot of stuff in here. My cognitive load is enormous. I'm a highly intellectual person. I think my IQ is off the charts. I know that. But what's crazy is you could ask me, hey, Rico, tell me about... and you could give me a name. And I might look at you and not be sure what I need to say about that person. A prime example, Dustin Hall earlier today. If you said to me, Rico, can you tell me about the transfer Dustin Hall from Duke? I would look at you and go, Dustin Hall from Duke. I owe you an answer. I don't quite remember that guy. The name sounds familiar, but I'm not sure. But the minute I see his picture, the minute I see his profile picture, oh my goodness, I go, oh, Dustin Hall. Yeah, he started 24 games in South Florida. Then he transferred to Duke. He was only there for 3 months. After being there for 3 months, took part in spring ball. And then he just transferred right now to East Carolina to go be a starter. He's going to be teammates with and I can just go on forever. It's the picture that triggers it for me. So if there's anybody in the chat that knows what the hell that is, I'm visually stimulated. I'm visually triggered. And my Rolodex and my hard drive, I just get to it, man. And it's when I see something, it just reminds me of something else. I don't know what it is. It's all in there. I tell everybody that all the time. You think I have a photographic memory? It's a Polaroid. It really is. Nonetheless, let's get back to the chat here. We got Gloria saying hi from Argentina. We're international, y'all. I'm worldwide. I'm Mr. Worldwide. Just call me Pitbull. Shout out to Ash, my Pitbull. She's chewing on some toys right now. Shout out to Rusty. It's nice to see Rusty every evening. What's good? Fast-paced offense needs 6 wide receivers. King P says 6 wide receivers. Are there 6 wide receivers at Western Kentucky? Because they run a fast-paced offense. They throw the ball 600 times a year. Was there 6 wide receivers at Purdue? Or was there just one wide receiver getting 100 receptions? I need to know. But yeah, 6 wide receivers sounds ideal. I remember Mississippi State completed passes to 14 different wide receivers. That's a fast-paced offense. That's Mike Leach, RIP. Rest in peace, the Pirate. 14 different wide receivers caught passes last year. So, yeah, that's a lot of wide receivers on the team. Alabama, I counted. They had 23 on the roster before this offseason. Now, some were walk-ons, but still. It's a lot of receivers at practice. Just letting you know. OGMRC in the building. Joe James, I don't know what that is, man, but I appreciate you. I don't know what that acronym stands for. What up, Rico? Shout out to you, Jabron. Colorado's offense is going to attempt to spread and blitz their opponents with lightning-fast speed. Yeah, we know the deal. I studied the Kent State offense. It gets a playoff every 30 seconds. They're going to do it. What are my thoughts on Stephen Wynn? I'm going to get to him later in the show, so please stick around, Easy Sunrise. Stephen Wynn is on my list of people I'm going to talk about. There's this list here. I don't predetermine the list. 24/7 Sports racks and stacks them, and I'm sure Stephen Wynn is on. There he is. Stephen Wynn is right here. It's that big, beautiful face. If you guys don't know who Stephen Wynn is, I will get to it and let you know who he is. But that's a massive man. He definitely flies on a plane in 2 seats. He doesn't sit on 1 seat. I'm just letting you know right now. Thank you. That's so crazy that he went so bad so fast. You know, I don't think it's that crazy. It happens more often than you think. He was very substandard in high school. He went to 4 different high schools. He didn't respect authority in high school. I have a clip of him at practice, and I don't want to pull it up right now because I don't want to give somebody else's channel any love. But there's a clip of him at practice in Tampa. He's at a new high school. He's going to be a senior. And the coach says, catch the pass with 2 hands. And we're talking about a Jai Hall right now. Coach says, catch the pass with 2 hands. They're in a line. They're doing a drill. And the wide receiver in front of him tried to catch a pass with 1 hand. So coach makes a correction, an on-the-spot correction. He says, hey, guys, when we do these routes, use both hands. Fundamentally sound football. Use both hands. Next guy in line is a Jai Hall and intentionally defies the coach and only uses 1 hand. And everybody starts laughing because he's special, because he doesn't have to do what everybody else does. That immaturity, that lack of respect for authority manifests itself and comes back to bite you in the ass so many times over when you get to the collegiate level, when everybody's equivalent in talent, when you have to earn your coach's trust to even see the field. You're an extension of your coach. You'll never see the field without trust. They can't trust you to go on the field and do what they tell you to do. You'll never be on that field. I don't care how talented you are. This is an and one mixtape. We ain't asking you to come out and do a crossover. You need to come out and play like Tyrone Lue. You need to come out and play like Derek Fisher. Hot Sauce ain't played a minute in the NBA. I'm not impressed. We're not doing one-on-one drills on a disaster video. We're not trying to beat somebody with a mask on and getting 10 grand. That's not what we're doing here. We're playing football at the highest level, preparing to be professionals. And I think he lost sight of that. I don't think he ever had sight of that. No one's ever sat him down and talked to him from that perspective. Instead, he's been praised for his speed, athleticism, and all this other nonsense. And the man didn't work hard enough. So he doesn't have a job. He doesn't have a scholarship. And he shouldn't. He shouldn't have a scholarship over somebody else who is coachable, who is grateful. There's plenty of young men in this portal that deserve that scholarship over him. I'm not talking about some walk-on. I'm not talking about some underprivileged kid from high school. No, I'm talking about a hungry dog, a straight-up dog. He's not a dog. No. And if he is, he's neutered. So it is what it is. Rico, tell me about Joshua K.D. Wiggins. There's nothing to tell you. He's not on the discussion tonight. What do you want me to say about Joshua Wiggins? How do you feel about him? My real question is why? Why do you know his name? Think about that for a second. Why do you know a player's name? Why do you know a guy like Joshua Wiggins? Why do you know his name? How did it come about? Did you grow up with him? Did you read some recruiting website and saw his stars? Did you see him in the transfer portal? Break it down for me. Give me your motives, and then I'll tell you what I think. Because I think when a lot of people ask me questions like, hey, Rico, what do you think about this guy? What do you think about that guy? All you want to do is argue. You don't want to hear the truth. You don't want to hear my assessment. You want to argue. You want to tell me what you think. I've been following him since middle school. He's been the best player I've ever seen. I'm telling you, I get it every day. You're good with pictures and faces? Yeah, me too. Shout out to Tinder. Rest in peace, the pirate. Yeah, that's true. All right, y'all. Good night, Top. We just started. We're not going to bed. All right, so let's go hit the list. Hey, I'll let the chat build back up. You guys had any questions, comments, concerns, write it in the chat. We'll get back to it. I promise you. I'll always get back to it. But right now, we're going to go hit this list and see what it's about. So without further ado, let's get started. If you guys need to know who these players are, and if you've never heard of them, you got to listen to me because Rico knows, okay? Rico knows for sure. So the first guy up is Isaac Ukuwu. I can't even say his last name. I'm really bad at last names. I am the worst at last names. I'm letting you guys know that now. So Isaac Ukuwu, he played at JMU. So he played at James Madison. He was injured a couple times. He was injured for a couple years that I remember. He's been at James Madison a long time. This guy, you know why I like him? He's got his degree in computer science. And then he enrolls in the cyber intelligence certification course or certification program at JMU. So he's going to be a cyber guy one day. I might see him in the hall someday. That's pretty cool. Nonetheless, you see how they gave him an extra star. It says high school on there, but this man is legitimately a 4-star defensive lineman in the transfer portal. Last season, he had 7.5 sacks at JMU. He's a huge reason why JMU was ranked in the top 25. Now, they didn't get to play in their bowl game. They didn't get to compete for their conference championship game because they're still in the transition period. That's a whole nother story. So they don't get to compete for the conference championship or play in a bowl game. But JMU was nationally ranked at one point last season. Now, was it warranted? I don't know. If you go look at the schedule, you're like, man, I don't know about all that. But let me tell you something. This man right here, Isaac, first team all-conference. First team all-conference Sun Belt. And his offers show you that the teams out there really respect this young man. I'm sorry, I just got distracted with you guys' chat. He's damn near 30 at this point. Call him a doctor. He doesn't need to give it up, Zion. Isaac is the truth. I'm reading this chat. This is hilarious. Isaac has offers from Missouri, Cincinnati, Liberty, Ole Miss, Cal, and Colorado. Colorado's offered him. Now, he's 6'3", 260. He's an edge rusher. But I'm telling you, he's the truth. Auburn's offered him. Kansas has offered him. He's got offers galore. He's got to choose the one he wants. He's got 1 year left. But he's the truth, okay? I really like that guy. Probably the best defensive lineman, edge rusher-wise, left in the portal right now. Probably the best one there, hands down. I really like his, and I like guys with production. I like guys that have actually done it. There's a lot of 4- and 5-star guys, like JaVale Smalls the other day. Everybody's talking about Smalls. Smalls this, Smalls that. Never had a sack in his life. Sitting 4th string at Washington. But you guys are all just gassing him on a 4- and 5-star rating. Did you see his huddle film? Yeah, I saw his huddle film. He played high school ball. In Washington. Of course he dominated these guys. It's crazy to me. But Isaac Ukuwu, Isaac is the truth, bruh. So that's a great player to have if Colorado can get him. They offered him. They're hoping for the best, but it ain't happened yet. Then we got Marcus Robinson here. Now it says he's 3 stars. They gave it to him as a transfer. He's a Florida guy. This is why I think he can end up at Colorado. He's a Florida kid. Single mom. He's got a single black mother. I'm just quoting. I'm not racist. He's got 5 brothers and sisters. Mom was putting in work. But he's got a lot to play for. He's hungry. The problem is he was in the portal in 2022. And then he withdrew from the portal, went back to Auburn. And he's back in the portal again. So he really wasn't happy at Auburn. Got it. But you know what I didn't like? Last year when he jumped in the portal, it was before the spring game. He jumped in the winter, and then he came back to school. He plays spring. And all the reports I read were telling me Marcus Robinson looks focused. He looks like he's hungry, like he's playing harder, like he wants to move up the depth chart. He wants to get in there and try. Ever since he got in the portal, pulled himself out, he's this new, revised thing. And I'm like, what? Why the hell weren't you that great to begin with? Why are you trying harder now? You should have been trying that hard the whole time. You would have never had to be in the portal. So I don't even get impressed when I hear about players who are revitalized or reinvigorated or motivated to do better this offseason. Bruh, be better every day. You're the child of a single mom. Go get her a house. You need to be working like you're trying to earn her a house. You know how hard it is for some people to earn a house? I can tell you how hard it is. I've bought 5 homes. I go to work and I earn that shit like you wouldn't believe. So my kids can see that I'm successful. But when I was a kid and my dad bought his first house, I want to tell you, I'm not joking. I think my dad bought his first house at 26 years old. He didn't graduate high school. I swear to you, this construction worker, now I don't know what he had to do. I don't know how much money he had to borrow. I don't know if he had to call in a favor. But this construction worker at 26 years old bought the house I grew up in. I think back on that. I was 6 years old. I moved in the house. I walked, hey, what the hell's going on? I might have been 27. I'm like, what in the hell? I remember being 27 going, my pops owned a house at this age? Sometimes these kids don't understand how hard they need to be working. They don't understand how hard people work to achieve greatness. And Marcus Robinson needs to bite down on his damn mouthpiece and work a little harder. That's what he needs to do. He's been in the damn transfer portal. This is his 3rd time. This is his second time. I'm sorry. He was in, he was out, I don't know. But he's back in. Hope he finds what he's looking for. But I'm not sold on guys like that. They're not bought into the program. Now, his coaching staff is gone. The people who recruited him, they're gone. They all got fired, right? Okay. Maybe that's reasonable. Here's Anthony Campbell, next guy, ULM. Now, Anthony Campbell doesn't belong at the top of this list at all. He just got a star. He was a 2-star kid. They just gave him 3 stars. He's a JUCO kid. This is a JUCO kid. He's 6'7". He's tall as hell. Got it. He had a breakout season this year. He did well in spring, and then he just dipped on these boys. Now, Anthony Campbell, he came to America at 14 years old. He's from Jamaica. He's Jamaican, so he's still learning the game. He's still doing his best, but he had no loyalty. He told ULM, I'm out. So he's looking for a better opportunity. Look for him to make a lateral move to a different group of 5 school. I don't think he's good enough to make it to a Power 5 school. If you see him sign with a Power 5 school, he took an offer he shouldn't have taken. Not somebody believes in him. He took an offer he shouldn't have taken. Now, Shone Washington. 3 stars, Georgia. Everybody spams me about this guy all day long. because he's from Georgia. He's from Georgia University, so he's got to be good. I'm like, what are you guys talking about? Number one, he left the team on his own. One of the few guys leaves the team on his own. I want you to think about that. They didn't discontinue his scholarship. He rolled out. He wasn't on the team anymore. This is a guy that sees your defensive line coaches make other defensive linemen professionals. You just saw guys get drafted at your position group. You're next in line. You're not going to be a starter. You're going to be a rotational guy. He's not that good. He's always been a 3-star guy. But he got Georgia on his helmet now, and everybody's talking like he's great. He's never been great. Never been great. I looked up everything I could find on him. I watched him on tape. He looks big. Never been great. I don't know why everybody's gassing him. I'm like, oh, that guy looks like a ULM product to me. Some Power 5 team's going to give him an offer, and they're going to be wasting a scholarship. He's going to show up and just kind of just loaf around. My dog is pissed about it. Come on, Ash. Calm down. Come on, Ash. Calm down. We're talking football back here. We ain't doing nothing crazy. Come on, Ash. Okay, thank you. All right, next guy I'm going to talk about right here is Howard Brown, Iowa State. This is a young kid. He's good. He looks bigger than he is. I mean, he's 6'2", 310. He looks bigger than that on tape. I like the kid. I think that's a good, hard-working, hard-nosed kid in the middle. I'm cool with him. I'm cool with Howard Brown. See, it's a different narrative. It's a different narrative when you're at Iowa State and you're trying to earn your keep, or when you're at Georgia and you just don't want to work. Different narrative. But everybody, hey, Rico, we need to get that Georgia guy. We need to get the Georgia guy to Colorado. Why? So he can show up and say he's from Georgia. You guys remember watching Last Chance U and Malik Henry and how unlikable he was? Because all he ever mentioned was he was at Florida State. He wasn't even that damn good. I'd rather take that backup quarterback. It's crazy. And you know where Malik Henry ended up? Nevada. 2 years later. Just saying. It ain't about game reps. It's about practice reps. Do it in practice. You'll get game reps. You don't do it in practice. That's why you don't play on Saturday. You don't do it in practice. All right, we did 5. I'm going back to the chat. Let's go. Back to the chat. My eyes are tainted because it's personal. I want to hear the truth. I hear you, J-Dog. Hey, your wife ain't as pretty as you think she is. Your eyes are tainted, bro. Your wife ain't as pretty as you think she is. That goes for everybody. Evening, Rico. Evening, Jim Vaz. What's up, man? Good to see you. Shout out to Fresno State's finest. You seen that Williams in their top 10. What do you want me to say, Zion? Zion, you're always in here talking nonsense, bro. Zion, we need to get this man a filter and make sure he's not talking nonsense. Devon Basket, you are the info goat. Sending out a big salute to you from Augusta, Georgia. What part of Augusta, man? What part of Augusta, man? I'm telling you, I'm over here in Grovetown. When people ask me where I'm from, I say Augusta so they don't know where I stay. I say Grovetown, but let me tell you, man, Augusta is grimy in certain parts. I was on Washington today. I was driving to the river, and there were some streetwalkers. They're out there just hustling, and they're wearing nothing. And I'm looking at these girls like, oh, my God, put some clothes on, bruh. I'm not paying for that, ever. Just keeping it real. Augusta, I don't mess with downtown too much, Broad Street and all that, but I hear you. Isaacs needs to give it up. He's damn near 30 at this point. Yeah, Zion, some guys are following their dream, man. Some guys are following their dream, and they're doing great. Joe James says, Devin Achane and Malik Hornsby High School team ran a 39.8 in the 4x1, breaking their old record. Fort Bend, Marshall. Yeah, man, that's a hell of a track team. It's pretty damn good. I watch a lot of high school track. Some of the best high school 4x1 teams are in Jamaica, but I'm with you. 2 track stars. Malik Hornsby's currently at Texas State. He's the second fastest player on the team. He's losing to a white dude named Drew Donnelly. Drew Donnelly, he runs a 10.300 meters. Just transferred from Cincinnati. Drew Donnelly's a Texas kid, went up to Cincinnati to be a receiver for Luke Fickell. Luke Fickell leaves. Drew Donnelly wants to come back home. And at Texas State, something that G.J. Kinney is having them do is like they do workouts every week. And they're pushing each other and testing each other every single week just for fitness, just for sheer fitness and drive and competitiveness. And they all do these races where they're trying to see who's the fastest. And Malik Hornsby does lose from time to time to Drew Donnelly. White Lightning. I don't know what they call him. I don't know what his nickname is. I just called him White Lightning. Reminds me of Tim Dwight. Y'all remember Tim Dwight out of Iowa? Maybe I'm aging myself. If you don't know who Tim Dwight is out of Iowa, YouTube's your friend. Go find Tim Dwight and watch him. That's all I'm saying. Thoughts on Taven Jackson. So Taven Jackson, being a transfer, if you guys don't know, Taven Jackson won some state titles in Indiana as a quarterback. Coming out of high school, he chases that dream and goes to Tennessee. And then he gets to Tennessee and he realized, oh my goodness, there's a lot of quarterbacks here and they're ahead of me on the depth chart. I'm never going to get to play. So he jumps in the transfer portal this winter, comes back to Indiana, be a hometown hero. He's going to be there for a while. His brother plays basketball there. His brother's he's really, really good. Left-hander. Saw him in March Madness for a little bit. So it's pretty good stuff. Yeah, Taven Jackson has a future. I don't think Tom Allen has a future. So I think Tom Allen's going to get fired. That's the head coach at Indiana. If they don't do well this year. If they're not in the top 5 teams in the Big Ten, I think he's fired. That's the truth. He's done a remarkable job at getting transfers and flipping that roster. He really has. He's done a terrible job at performing or at, what's the word I want to use, cultivating culture and continuity and creating something from the ground up. They don't have it. It's like they got all the right parts, right? They went to Home Depot and they bought all the lumber they needed. They got all the lumber in these stacks and on these pallets and they're ready to go. They got all the right tools. And the dude can't build shit. And you're like, man, ain't there supposed to be a cabin here? Ain't there supposed to be a house here? Nothing. That's how Indiana's looking right now. And that's why I think Taven Jackson needs to prepare to learn a new offense because he's going to have a new offense coordinator next year. Just my assumption. Unless they ball out this year. We'll see. But that's how I feel about Taven Jackson. Rico, your mic is good. Thank you very much, Colin. I'm trying to learn how to fix my mic. I'm trying to learn how to do some of these graphics. I'm new to all of this, so it is what it is. 1 year left at 27, been in college for damn near a decade. Yeah, call him doctor, bro. Any guy who's been in college for 6 or 7 years, just call him doctor. Don't call him, he's not a student athlete. Just say, hey, Dr. So-and-so. That's just the way it is. I can't say his last name, so that's how we go. Facts, Rico production is a great indicator. Yeah, I'm a big believer in production. Please don't repeat your questions more than once. I will get to the chat. It takes me time. I go to the chat in between the two. But if you spam your question more than once, you're taking up a lot of our space. You can ask me any question. I don't care. But just don't do it more than once. I will get to it. Be patient. I know you younger generation are not patient. But you need to be. You don't get instant gratification from me. You got to chill. On the field shows if you are a dog or not. Yeah, get on the field. Earn it. Good for you, Rico. Thank you, Cindy. I don't know what that's about. Is that about my work ethic and drive? Maybe. Yeah, I didn't understand why Sean Washington left Georgia, especially after Bear left. I would think for game reps if he stayed. I think he left before Bear. Didn't he leave before Bear? If not, yeah, I don't think they think that far ahead, guys. You got guys leaving in the draft. Jalen Carter's gone. This is the spot for you, man. And they don't believe in it. Baby girl, hey, Hibiscus, shout out to Hibiscus. That's one of my followers from New York. Baby girl is right behind the desk that I'm sitting at, and she is chewing on one of her toys to no end. She's just gnawing it away. I don't know what it is. You know, she got a hold of my sandals this morning. Hey, shout out to my followers. Just in case you guys wanted to send me something. I wear size 12 shoes. My dog ate my shoes today. 2 pairs. She ate my sandals and my Under Armour shoes that I really like, my new ones. So, I'm not mad. Can't be mad at this girl, but she ate my shoes, y'all. If you want to replace them, hint, hint. No, don't do that. I probably won't like the style you send. Anyways, no, the wife, the one thing I got right. Okay, this man says, my wife is good looking. She's better looking than me. That's cool. I'm not talking crazy. I was just asking you a simple question. I'm a grown-ass man, not with the trolling. All right, Zion. Zion, I believe that you are very grown physically. I'm with you. Not streetwalkers. I promise you, streetwalkers. I can't say nothing else. Augusta, stand up. I feel you. Washington. On the corner of Washington and Dunkin' Donuts. Illinois had 3 DBs drafted this year. Was any of those guys coached or recruited by Lovie Smith? Joe James. So I don't know if they were coached by Lovie Smith. Lovie Smith's been gone for a little bit. But those 3 DBs were developed and coached by Ryan Walters. Ryan Walters gets all the credit for making 0 stars into NFL players, 0 stars into 5 stars. And the Ryan Walters is the head coach now at Purdue. And when you start seeing these transfers go to Purdue, you just got to respect it because they want to go play for the GOAT. They want to go play for the best defensive coordinator in the country, and that's Ryan Walters. He's a hell of a good now, Kirby Smart's a hell of a defense coordinator, but he's a head coach now. But it's real. So just something to think about. Ryan Walters gets all the credit for that. I'm back again from Kiev. Hey, shout out to you. We're trying to do our best. I have 2 guinea pigs. Oh, Cindy. Cindy has 2 guinea pigs. All right. Well, if you have 2 guinea pigs, you don't have 1 Rico. I don't like guinea pigs. They don't think that far ahead. They definitely don't. Rico's a damn sly comedian. I think I'm really funny. You guys, I'm really tempering my sense of humor in these videos because I know other people are going to watch them at other times. But I'm straight up hilarious if you meet me in person. I got all the best comebacks. Or not the Swiss. Dark horse Heisman candidates. All right, long report. So I've done a video about this. Dark horse Heisman candidates. So for me, dark horse means they don't even have odds on them. Now, there's odds on a bunch of dudes. If you look up the Vegas odds for Heisman winners, there's a bunch of dudes on the odds list. And I don't like to name any of them because people are betting on those guys. I can name dudes that are way out there on dark horse candidates. So let me do this for you guys. Let me pull up this other tab here. You go to Google, Heisman, he is him. Heisman favorites 2023. How about betting favorites? Maybe that'll come up. There it is. So you see how Caleb Williams is here, Michael Penix Jr. We can hit more items. There's a grip of dudes here. Look at all these names. Everybody you're thinking about. So, when you want to name a dark horse Heisman, I don't even like to name these dudes. These guys are here. It's probably going to be one of these guys. But here's some rules for the Heisman. Number 1, it's a quarterback award. Don't you dare say anybody else. It's got to be a quarterback. Number 2, it can't be from the group of 5. The last group of 5 Heisman winner was 1990 and Ty Detmer. So it's got to come from these superstars. So if I'm down here, if I'm taking odds, I'm taking Marvin Harrison way down here at plus 4,000, just for the hell of it, because those are amazing odds. Okay, plus 4,000, taking Marvin Harrison. Another guy you should take is Drew Aller, quarterback at plus 2,500. To me, these aren't dark horse. These are straight up favorites. These are the odds you're looking for. Take Jordan Travis. Stay away from Drake May. Drake May's going to have a bad season. No Josh Downs. No offensive coordinator in Cone. I don't like where North Carolina's going. Remember, Drake May led the team in rushing. But Quinn Ewers is down here at 2,200. These are the guys you're looking at. Quinn Ewers and Drew Aller. This is where you want to put your money. Get crazy and put it on Cade Klubnik. But the rest I can't get down with. Now, there's some other dudes out there, bro. You guys know Riley Leonard? Does anybody know Riley Leonard? Riley Leonard, the starting quarterback at Duke. Bo Nix has not been around for a long time. Bo Nix was the SEC Freshman of the Year. Bo Nix has played great every single year. He's gotten better. He spent 2 years under who's the guy who just got hired at Arizona State? I'll never forget his name until right now, which is insane because I talk about him every day. Dillingham. What's wrong with me? Kenny Dillingham. So that's another one. It's just one of those things. Bo Nix is a real player, bro. He gets a bad rap because all these SEC guys want to bash him for leaving the conference. Oh, he wasn't any good in our conference. Really? He was the freshman of the year. He kept throwing more touchdowns than interceptions, and he had to overcome a terrible coach that got fired. Don't tell me about the quarterbacks in the SEC. They're all transfers from other schools who couldn't start. I'll list them every night. I'll list them every night if I have to for those SEC homers. Jaden Daniels, Spencer Rattler, Joe Milton, Jackson Dart, Graham Mertz. Do I list them all? Do I got to keep going? Tyler Buckner. You transfer to the SEC when you can't start at your other school or when you're not wanted there anymore. You just transfer to the SEC. You can start there. Them positions are free, bruh. Them positions are free. All right, back to the questions here. Rico, do you think CU wide receiver target Jaquay Jackson? I think there's one too many wide receiver targets. I think we need to stop talking about wide receiver targets for Colorado. That's real. Why has FSU struggled with bringing in quality wide receivers in recent years, with the exception of 3 wide receivers? Is that what you just did? You just listed 3 wide receivers? What team has gotten 3 wide receivers in the transfer portal that were good? What team has gotten 3 contributing wide receivers in the transfer portal? USC? Who else? Who else has gotten 3 wide receivers in the transfer portal that are contributing? Crickets. Crickets. They're doing just fine. Florida State does not struggle with bringing in quality wide receivers in recent years. They don't pan out the way you envisioned. They're not marquee names that are going to get drafted. There's a reason they're transferring. Sometimes you guys can't be dragging these kids. They're 4-star. Like, McClain just left. And all the Florida State fans, he wasn't much. He was just rotation. He was just depth, Rico. Why are you rating us so low? McClain's just depth. Well, he's a damn treasure at Penn State. I bet you wish you had McClain today. Just saying. Just saying. Yeah, unfortunately, this generation doesn't look at the negative effects of their decisions. They often choose to learn the hard way. I don't think they choose to learn the hard way. There's a famous saying I tell all my soldiers. You don't know what you don't know. You don't know what you don't know. Think about that for a second. Let it marinate. You don't know what you don't know. What do you think about this? Coach Prime and the players being flipped at Colorado. Do you think that the AD and the big money boosters gave the blessing to bring in better talent? Big Ross Racer. The athletic director and the big money boosters have no bearing on scholarship allocation. The athletic director has more bearing on all the other scholarships, on all the other sports. Football is just one of many sports at that school. Let's make that very clear. Scholarship decisions are made by the head coach. And if you're referring to NIL money, that has nothing to do with the university. NIL money does not come from the university. So let's just make sure we understand that. That's a whole different department. It has nothing to do with the university. It's illegal to come from the school. Now, is it coming from a closely affiliated booster from the school? Sure. But there is no overriding green light, go do this, go do that. It's a rebuild process. It's a turnover of the roster. Ole Miss has sent 53 guys to the transfer portal in the last 2 years. 53 players to the transfer portal in the last 2 years. Not a word about it. Nobody saying, do you think it's the athletic director telling Lane Kiffin he can do this? Come on, guys. It's just the double standard. It's just nonsense. Coach Prime's changing his roster, picking the best players for his team, and leave it at that. It doesn't take some external outside approval. Leave it at that. The man makes $5 million. There are 20 players in the transfer portal at Alabama right now. Did somebody have to give Nick Saban approval to send those 20? Or to sign one guy to give him some extra money? It doesn't work that way. How old is Bo Nix? Seems like he's been around forever. Not true. Thank you, Rico. You're welcome. Shout out to the odds. What are the odds Malik Murphy finishes as the starting quarterback at Utah? Well, the odds, the mathematical odds are 1 in 3 or 33%. The reality of that is 0. That's not happening. Quinn Ewers is a professional quarterback. He's the starting quarterback. Please don't repeat your questions. What are the odds on Shedeur Sanders and Jaden Daniels? I'm pretty sure Shedeur Sanders isn't on the list. So it's going to say like all other players are 10,000 to 1 or something like that. I don't think you should put any money on Shedeur Sanders or Jaden Daniels. You'll be losing your money. Just give it to a homeless person. Give it to your baby mama. Give it to an ex-girlfriend. You'll never see it again. It's all good. You guys think this is an excellent question? Come on, sweetie. Come on. Joey B did come to us from Ohio State. Yeah. Yeah, everybody comes from a different school that they can't start at. That's what you do. Those guys weren't brought in this year, guy. Those guys weren't brought in this year, guy. I don't know what you're saying or who you're talking to. If you're going to talk in here and you say those, they, them, we, us, please put a name in there so when we get to the chat, we know what you're talking about, especially if I get to the chat later than normal. But if you're trying to imply something to me, I'd love to know. I'd love to know. I'm here for it. Charging $10 at the spring game and selling over 40,000 tickets definitely helped Colorado financially. Joe James. Yeah, so that money goes to the university. That money does not go to the NIL budget. The money does not go to boosters. That money does not go to anything of that sort. Please understand. There's accounting. All right. You guys keep writing your questions. We'll get back to it. Let's move back over to see who's left in the transfer portal at defensive line. Let's have a good time with it. So, up next, Chance Main. So if you guys didn't see my video about Chance Main, obviously Chance Main has an offer from Colorado. Look, Chance Main was not cut from Colorado like everybody else. Chance Main, if you don't know who he is, he started at Last Chance U. He started at Independence. He's a JUCO kid. He went to Independence because he lived down the street, about 10 minutes away from the damn campus. Pulled it up on a map one day, and I was like, "What? This kid lived right down the street." So he goes to his local JUCO, plays the best he can on Netflix, and then he gets an offer to go to UIW. So now he's at Incarnate Word. He's down there. He's playing great, 2 years. And then he gets an offer to go to Colorado. Plays at Colorado last year, contributes. He's in the rotation. He does well. He shows up on the stat sheet. He does everything he can. And then he gets an email in January. And the email says, your scholarship is expired. You're done. You can't play anymore. You've run out of eligibility. Now, he was under the impression he still had eligibility because he had a medical red shirt 1 year, but apparently he never applied for the medical red shirt. So the onus was on him. He made the mistake. He did not apply for the red shirt. And when you don't apply for the red shirt, well, you don't have any more eligibility left. So he leaves school and he goes back home. This is in January of this year. He goes home and he's in Indiana and he's getting all of his paperwork. All of his paperwork together. And he's trying to show where he went to medical appointments, all the stuff. He's trying to get all the supporting documentation. So he can put together his file, send it to the NCAA, and Independence, Kansas. I said Indiana, I meant Kansas. Apologize. I was just thinking about that right now. And he sends it to the NCAA, and they take about 3 months to make a determination on his eligibility. During this time frame, just to cover all his bases, he knows he can't play anymore. He goes to UIW's Pro Day, and he performs for NFL scouts. He's ready to go to the NFL. He don't have opportunity anymore. And out of nowhere, he finally gets approval for that last year of eligibility. On the 24th of March, he gets word, and the first thing he does is put his name in the transfer portal. He's got 1 year of eligibility left. He just wanted to see, what are the options? What can I do? So he gets in the transfer portal. The narrative immediately. Chance Main jumps in the transfer portal. He can't play anymore. He didn't want to compete with Coach Prime. He ain't ready for the talent level. This, that, and the other. Oh, my goodness. None of these creators knew anything about his situation, about his medical condition, about him getting an extra year of eligibility, about him trying out at the UIW Pro Day. The narrative was he can't cut it and play for Coach Prime. This man left on the 24th. This was 2-3 weeks before the spring game. He left before everybody. He wasn't cut. And this is why Colorado offered him a scholarship. Colorado sent him an offer because when you look at this list, he's one of the better players on the list. And they said, man, we need a guy that can come in and contribute. He's never met the coaching staff. He's never met Coach Prime. Never met Charles Kelly. Never met Sal Sunseri. But they started calling him. In these last couple of weeks, they started calling him. Matter of fact, Chance Main's going to be on campus this weekend visiting. So in about 2 days, he's going to be visiting. He doesn't need to see the facilities. He knows the facilities. He wants to talk to the coaches, and he wants to see what the plan is for him and their scheme, because he only has 1 year of eligibility left. He wants to make sure he's in the rotation, that he's contributing, that he's doing what's best for him before he attempts to go pro. He's looking like an undrafted free agent, fine. But he wants to get an opportunity to showcase his skills. He does have another offer. He got an offer from Montana once he jumped in the portal. That's an FCS school. But I just wanted to get the truth out there on Chance Main, because the narrative was Coach Prime made a mistake when he cut him. Now he's trying to take it back. Oh, my God, you guys see this stuff? Coach Prime don't know what he's doing. All that is nonsense. They've never met. Okay? They were never on campus at the same time. So I just want to get the dirt out of the air there. Then we got Naeem Rodman here. This man started. And the thing about Rodman is he started – sorry, I'm clicking around over here on the other side. He started 17 games for Colorado. He played in 38 games. He's from St. John Bosco. He's a California kid. Huge guy. You know, there's some other guys that were high school teammates of his. Bothroyd, Rondell Bothroyd, I believe he transferred to Purdue out of USC. I want to say. So maybe Naeem Rodman goes to Purdue as well. Maybe. That's an option. Let me go check over here. I want to make sure I got that right. Bothroyd might have gone to Purdue. I could have just pulled that out of thin air. I could be right, bruh. And then what are we going to do? Let's scroll to the bottom. Ooh, nope, I was wrong. I don't see him there. Where did Bothroyd go? I have to look it up some other time. But the point is he's got some places to go. We have no indication of where he wants to go. He's not coming back to Colorado, but he's huge. I think he's 6'3", 6'4", 6'3", 300 pounds. Let me get this out of here. Minimize this. So there's that guy. Alton Tarber. Alton Tarber's huge. He's 6'2", 320. Oklahoma kid. And the thing about it is, by the way, he's Alton Tarber the fourth, almost like Alton McCaskill the fourth. I almost get them mixed up just because they both got the same first name, and they say Alton. They go to schools that wear red or maroon. Anyways, but he's a Florida kid. There's a pipeline there. He's Florida. I think Fort Lauderdale. I think where is he at in Florida? I don't want to click on it because then it'll. Oh, let me do this. Open in a new window. Deerfield Beach. My bad. Deerfield Beach, Florida. I knew it was somewhere. So if I click on these guys, this whole list goes away, even if I hit back. So I never click on the links. I just keep them here like this. Just something to think about. Have I gone through 5? 1, 2, 3, 4. Anthony Dunn from Marshall. Hey, so Dunn is actually at FAMU right now. So he's not even in school. Or he's not at Marshall. He's not available. And then here's the real top 5. Here's the real guy. Tuan Malone. Everybody's after him. He's going to be visiting Miami this weekend. But Michigan wants him. He played a bit. He played a bit of football. He's from Bergen Catholic. Perennial power. Tuan Malone's huge. Okay, he's a big man, 6'4", 300 pounds. He actually contributed and played. I don't know why he's in the portal. I don't understand it. He's a good player. Maybe he wants to get paid. Maybe he's going after that lucrative dream. But he was a former 5-star kid, just an enormous man. And shout out to whatever opportunity he pursues. But it's pretty nuts. Another guy is Dylan Brooks right here from Auburn. You see how skinny he looks in the face? He is that skinny. What's crazy is Auburn's really thin at edge rushers, and somehow they lose Dylan Brooks. How, bruh? Like, don't want to play for Hugh Freeze? Doesn't want to be there? I don't know. So there's a position. The defensive coordinator at Auburn is Ron Roberts, and Ron Roberts calls edge rushers jack. That's what it's called. So if you ever look at the depth chart, if you're ever curious who's playing the jack position, it was Dylan Brooks. But I don't know why he jumped in. He played and contributed last year. I thought he'd be the starting jack coming up. I'm careful. I don't like to say the word jack. Okay, so back to the chat, and then we'll get back to Stephen Wynn here in a bit. Let's see what you guys' questions are, and we'll go from there. Rodman just committed to Washington State. Oh, shout out to 24/7 for not having it. So that's pretty good. Another big body at Washington State. That's cool. Thank you for hitting the like button. Shout out to you, Willie Bobo. Hey, Willie Bobo, did you get a chance to watch Let It Ride, the horse racing movie? I bet you didn't watch it. I bet you changed your mind. If a top school called you about a transfer portal specialist job position, would you consider it? Love the content. So, Mr. Oatmeal, Shaq Oatmeal, check this out. Would I consider it? Yes, I would consider it. I would consider performing scouting duties on the transfer portal. I would consider any role at any university. But here's the catch. The vast majority of scouting and statistical information that is being performed at universities is done by interns. It's done by students. You can apply and do it as an intern and a student, and it's free labor for these guys. I'm not free labor. I'm a six-figure kind of guy. I make six figures sitting here at the house. I'm not about to give up my standard of living just to go pursue something like that. But yeah, I would hear it. There's plenty of people offering me roles within their podcast, coming on and doing guest segments on various podcasts, offering me sponsorship. I had an offer for a sponsorship, and I don't mean to put numbers out there, but the numbers were nice. But the problem was, I'm an alpha male. I can't sit on your podcast in the back and wait for my 3-minute segment to talk when the two of you talking can't hold a candle to me talking. Like, it just doesn't work for me. It's just the nature of who I am. I'll be my own brand before I ever sit down and be a contributor to somebody's show. Now, Pat McAfee calls, what's up? Right? Barstool calls, what's up? But I'm just keeping it a stack with everybody. I'm not second fiddle to anyone. I can articulate. I can speak clearly. I can speak to any audience. I don't care if you're from the hood or you're a damn doctor. We can get down however way you want. But what I can't do is subject myself to being just a little minion on one of these shows. So I have been a guest before on a couple of podcasts, had a good time. But I tend to take over. And it's probably just in my best interest to push my own brand and keep it moving the way I am. So that's what I'm doing. That's who I am. But do I know a lot of people on coaching staffs? Yes, I do. Do they reach out to me? Yes, they do. I talk to NFL scouts. I talk to a ton of players in the NFL draft. What you guys don't know is a lot of those hidden gems and a lot of those videos I make on TikTok were pushed out and made because the player reached out to me and asked me to make a video on their behalf. That happens a lot. So I like being in the know. I like talking to certain players, certain people. I have people on every team that I talk to for the most part. There's some teams out there, they don't talk to me. I still don't have a guy on UConn or UMass. But the Power 5 teams, there's players from those teams reaching out to me in my DMs almost every day. It's pretty cool. I don't always write them back. Sometimes they got a gripe. Sometimes they got a bone to pick. I know one kid from UCF was really upset. I'm not going to put his name out there, but he was really upset with me because I told the truth about him. And it is what it is. And all I told him was, you focus on practice, bro. Focus on what you're doing. Don't focus on me. You're not going to make it. It is what it is. So, anyways, back to the chat. Let's see what we got. David Van, best NCAA period. That's pretty nuts. So where is Alton going? I just watched your video. Evan Jones, I talked to Alton last night. He talked to me again. We write each other back and forth. I obviously defended him. Somebody said they hope that he never recovers from his injury that he had 2 years ago. Man, if I knew where Alton was going, I wouldn't tell you. And if I didn't know, I wouldn't tell you. Hold on. What is my girl eating, bro? She's destroying something. I don't want her choking on it. So I wouldn't tell you. But I hope he does what's best for him. Word is he might follow one of his old coaches. Somebody spammed that to me somewhere. Said he's going to follow one of his old coaches down to Miami. That's a new one to me. That's a curveball. Could happen. So that's real. Appreciate you saying that's real. With the Pac-12 not able to get a TV deal done, USC and UCLA leaving for the Big Ten, what if CU has a great season with 7 wins and the prime effect money making machine? Which conference would go? I don't know what you're trying to say. If you're trying to imply that conference realignment will be dictated by the performance on the field, you're wrong. It has nothing to do with how you do on the field. It has everything to do with your TV market. So the way these conferences are realigning has everything to do with the TV market you offer. This is why Boise State is not a candidate to join the Big 12 or the Pac-12 every year, because nobody wants the Boise State TV market. What shares do they bring? And this is why SMU is so big and San Diego State is so big to the Pac-12, because they want the Dallas TV market. Okay, all it is just ratings on TV and what teams bring the most fans. Colorado doesn't have a national pool right now. There's a lot of people talking about it, and you get excited if they start winning. But the TV market in Colorado isn't quite there. They also have a stadium that doesn't seat more than 50,000 people. So that's a whole nother issue. It doesn't matter about the wins. That nobody cares about the win. They care about TV market, TV shares. If they cared about wins, the Big Ten would have grabbed Utah. Okay, the Big Ten would have grabbed Utah if they cared about wins, or Oregon first. The other thing you got to remember is when you move for conference realignment, it's all sports. It's all sports. What other sports does Colorado offer? What other sports are they elite at? Cross country? They're good at cross country. But I need you to think about that sometimes. I'm calling SUP. I don't know what that means. I'm calling SUP. After CU. Which other conference would go after CU? Yeah. I don't know, man. We know UConn would beat Colorado. Just talk to me. Shout out to you, Colin Boland, the biggest UConn fan in the chat. Shout out to Paguno, my day one. What's up, GOAT? That's nice. Thank you, Cindy. Morant's Rant says he's interviewed me. You leave a lot to be desired. Morant's Rant runs a Ponzi scheme channel. They talk about GameStop stocks, and on his channel, they've interviewed me before. I have nothing to say to those guys. I say sell, 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 and don't hold a damn thing. Have paper hands and get the hell out. So they don't particularly care for me. I don't care for them either. And they're a bunch of lemmings. Focus on me, player. Tennis. I don't even know what that means. Tendinitis. Tennis who? Tennis D. I don't know what you're saying. All right. Back to the list over here. We got Stephen Wynn, defensive lineman. If you guys don't know Stephen Wynn, I'll break it down for you. He's a huge body guy. This is a guy who takes 2 seats on the plane. 6'3", 305, but he looks bigger than that. Very stout. Spent his high school days. He went to IMG. Before that, he was in... Come on, sweetie. He was in South Carolina. And I bring that up because maybe he wants to go back home to South Carolina. Maybe. I don't know. But Stephen Wynn, huge defensive lineman, goes to IMG. From there, he goes to Bama. Plays at Bama for 4 years. He's at Bama for 4 years. He played in 21 games. He's just a plug of a literal kind. Not the plug like you can get your re-up. He has just this huge body. He can just gap responsibility. Put him somewhere. He's just going to plug something up. So every game starter for Nebraska. Primary starter last year. A real marquee player in the portal. He's got 1 year of eligibility left. I don't know where he goes. He'd be a great get for Colorado. He'd be a great get for Colorado. I mean, at that point, you can't move and shove that front line, that front seven. So we'll see. I don't know if he's even been offered by Colorado, but that's a big man. All right. Then you got Joshua Polka here, 4-star. This is one of those 4 stars they missed on immensely. And they miss on a lot of 4 stars from California. This is a kid from Northern California, St. Francis, California. Originally went to Stanford. Maybe 2 or 3 years, if I remember correctly. He was at Stanford for a while. And then the craziest thing happened. He transfers to Fresno State for playing time. And you know what happened? He didn't get none. He still sucks. He only went to Fresno State. His dad was at Fresno State. He's now like 300 pounds, but when he came into college, he was only like 250. So he's gotten bigger. I think he's 310 now, 6'3", 310. Big kid, never done much. I hope he goes to Hawaii and gives Timmy Chain some depth. If you guys don't know, my dog Ash is putting in some work, and It is what it is. She's just humping my arm. I apologize. She makes her appearance every night. All right. Next is Demon Clowney. Demon Clowney, if you know the name. If you know the name. Jadeveon Clowney is his cousin. Demon's not nearly as good. Demon's been at Ole Miss for a couple years. He's not available in the transfer portal. It has that here, but he's not available. This is 24/7 Sports not updating their website. Again, he's been at Charlotte since Christmas. So he's at Charlotte because he's a St. Francis kid, because he went to St. Francis Academy, went to go hook back up with Biff Poggi, his old high school coach. So Demon Clowney being 6'4", 250 edge rusher, he's not a 4-star kid anymore. It is what it is. He played in 11 games in 3 years at Ole Miss. So, okay. And then here's Jabari Ishmael, another edge rusher at Miami. He's finally leaving Miami. He was at Miami for 2 years. He didn't play much at Miami, but what's crazy about it, I went to go look for tape on him when he jumped into the portal, and I found 17 snaps that he's played, and that's it. But the real reason he's leaving school is Cristobal fired his dad. And if you don't know, Jabari Ishmael's father is Victor. I keep forgetting his name. Victor. Jabari Ishmael's father is Victor, and Victor's been the strength and conditioning coach at Miami for 20 years. And Mario Cristobal said, you got to go, bro. So he's taking his son with him. I don't know where he's going to go. He had offers from everybody, but all the offers he had before he sorry, I'm playing tug-of-war with my dog right now. All the offers he had before he signed with Miami were from schools in the Power 5, except for FIU. So I don't know where he thinks he's going to go, but if he couldn't play at Miami, he could probably go play at Missouri. Shout out to Jake Garcia. Let's see here. Andres Fox, deja vu, bruh. Check this out. Andres Fox played 4 years at Stanford. Maybe 5. 4 years at Stanford and then transferred to Fresno State. What are we doing? You go 4 years at Stanford, go to Fresno State. Oh, that's just like this guy right here, Joshua Polka up here. Same thing. They both, I guess they're friends. I guess they did it. But Andres Fox is an Alabama kid. And I don't know if he wants to go back home or what. But I know last offseason, he jumped in the transfer portal. This is true. He committed to Virginia in the winter last season. Committed to Virginia. Goes to Virginia for what? 2-3 months? Spring ball and all that? And in the spring, jumps back in the transfer portal. Just like a lot of these guys are doing, that double time. He did that last year. And he ended up at Fresno State. Still didn't play. Couldn't play at Fresno State. He didn't realize Fresno State had some dogs, and they were really deep. So that's another guy leaving Fresno State. Couldn't play there. These guys showed up from Stanford with their silver spoons and couldn't play at Fresno State. They found out the hard way. And then I'll do Marlo real quick. Marlo Jr. Is a 4-star. He'll be in the portal till the portal exists. This guy will never get a scholarship offer. He's spent 1 season at Cincinnati this year, and he'll never be another collegiate. I don't see how. He got arrested for sexually assaulting multiple people. It doesn't say multiple women. It says multiple people. It is what it is. He got arrested, and after getting arrested, he jumped in the transfer portal. He's letting everybody know, I got 4 years of eligibility left. Put it on his Twitter. 4 years of eligibility left in the transfer portal. Thank you, God. With that being said, if you guys ever want to find an announcement of somebody entering the transfer portal, go on Twitter and just search the phrase, with that being said. Just search, with that being said. That's all you got to search. And everything will come up. Because these dudes write a whole TLDR, too long didn't read, right? They'll write all this shit, and then at the bottom they'll go, with that being said, I've decided to enter the transfer portal. I used to do a search for transfer portal, and too much shit was popping up. The minute I did the search for, with that being said, I started seeing everything. I was like, oh my goodness, these kids say the same shit every time. All right, so we'll stop there. I can keep going. Hunter Daewoo is not a defensive lineman. That's an offensive lineman at Iowa State, so that's wrong. Navarrete didn't play much at Oregon. I don't even know where he's going to go, to be honest. Let's see what you guys are talking about in chat. But he's got 3 years left. I saw his Twitter. All he has is practice clips, so he never played in a game. He's from Norco, California. I like Norco. Toby Gerhart from Norco, California. Stanford, great. One of the meanest running backs. Should have won the Heisman. Who'd they give it to? They give it to Ingram? They gave it to Mark Ingram instead of Toby Gerhart. Go look at those numbers. I think Toby Gerhart had like 28 rushing touchdowns that season. Somebody fact check me. Toby Gerhart, 28 rushing touchdowns his last year at Stanford. Should have won the Heisman. He finished second in the Heisman, closest Heisman vote ever. Toby Gerhart should have won a Heisman. Norco, California's finest. So Jaden Navarrete here is from Norco. Just saying. Oh, and Malik Langham. There you go, from Vanderbilt down here. This guy right here. This is the last guy I'll talk about. Malik Langham from Vandy, committed to Purdue to go play for Ryan Walters. I think he said he's committed, and it's a business decision. So, yeah, those are all the defensive linemen in the transfer portal. A couple of good ones. A couple of guys offered by Colorado with our fingers crossed, right? Wakowu. I hope they're interested in Robinson. Stay away from Washington. It's fool's gold here, bro. Not when you can go get somebody like Malone. Well, not really Malone. Malone's on the big dog list. But you can go get Wynn. Rest of these guys, leave a lot to be desired. And stay away from Marlowe, bruh. Marlowe, oof. Ooh, and you know I don't say nothing negative about anybody. All right, let's go. I'm going to go back to the chat. If you got questions, go ahead and drop them in, and we'll wrap this up tonight. I'm not staying on too long. Just wanted to talk to you guys about defensive linemen and keep it moving. Have you got Niles Gaddy? Do I have him? He's not on this list right now, but I saw when he entered the portal. So there you go. David Vann, defensive tackle, North Carolina State. Shout out to you. Fact, 100%. I was thinking the same thing about Stephen Wynn. Plug would be excellent fit for Colorado. Brick wall. Yeah, he's hard to move, man. Easy Sunrise. He's a stout body in the middle, and he's hard to move. Clowney was a dog. You're referring to Jadeveon Clowney. Dean would probably offer the kid from FAMU before Niles Gaddy. Gaddy didn't even play in the Celebration Bowl. Yeah. So, look, there's only about 6 or 7 guys from Jackson State offered to go to Colorado. And Coach Prime saw the roster. And then when he cleared out all the scholarships, there's still only 6 or 7 guys. It's not like he's going to go sign all those guys. He knows who they are. But I don't think he's trying to take the team at Jackson State and put them in the Pac-12. That's not supposed to happen. There's no way they can be competitive. He knows there's a huge talent gap, a huge talent jump. This is why Woods is still there, because they recognize, this is what it takes to have 80 tackles in a season. You got to be this good? My bad. And that's how people need to keep it in perspective. So, no, not every Jackson State kid needs to come over. Niles Gaddy's not it. Just letting you know. He done. Yeah, Dan Marlowe. Yep, for sure. That's a wrap for Marlowe. Yep. Thoughts on Isaac Wakuwu? Where do you see him going? So I talked about him earlier, Marlowe. I think you got in here late. I think he's the best defensive lineman in the transfer portal. He's got a ton of offers. He's a cyber expert, so I know he's as smart as me. No, at least he's trying to be. But for me, when I look at a player like that, I all-conference guy, I think he's interested in Missouri. Missouri's got a great defensive front. They are in the SEC. I think he's interested in Cincinnati, but not a lot of people want to play for Satterfield. So Colorado, Ole Miss, who's giving out the biggest NIL money? Who's giving out the biggest NIL money? West Virginia, Auburn. He's on all those lists. I know he's visiting. So here, check this out. He's visiting Auburn this weekend, and he's doing it with another guy, and I forget the other guy's name. But he's showing up to Auburn this weekend, and because he's coming this weekend, that is exactly why Dylan Brooks jumped in the transfer portal. Dylan Brooks jumped in the transfer portal when he heard they were hosting Isaac. Just bringing him over. And he was like, yo, I'm out. I'm out. You're talking to another girl? I'm out. I know you didn't do nothing to her. I know you didn't do nothing with her, but you just talking to her. I found the text messages. She's supposed to come over. I'm not doing it. I'm not sticking around for this. I deserve better. I should go be with somebody who only wants to be with me. All right, go, because this girl fine as hell. That's the reality of the situation. Just letting you know. Thoughts on Jadis, Richard? No thoughts. No additional thoughts. Marlboro Marlowe. Toby definitely should have cleared him in stats. Yeah, should have won, cleared him in stats. Yeah, for sure, Colin. It's insane. Have a good night for later, Rico. Thank you. Bless you. Yep. What's the problem with Patrick Mahomes' brother? You know, I don't watch a lot of TV. I do a lot of research on the transfer portal and college football. I don't even know. I could walk past Patrick Mahomes' brother right now and not know who he is. I couldn't point him out in a crowd. I know his name is Jackson. Is it Jackson? I couldn't point him out in a crowd. I don't know Patrick Mahomes' girl. I might have a hard time pointing out Patrick Mahomes in a crowd. I'm letting you know now. Just keeping it real. So that's the truth. Where I live, within a 150-mile radius, I've got Cal, Stanford, Fresno State, okay, Sacramento State, and UC Davis. Shout out to you, Jim Vaz. You living in is this Central California? Are you in the San Joaquin Valley? You're a little north. You just south of. Are you near San Jose? I'm trying to get some bearing on you. I got a sister. I think she lives up in SLO, or she used to, San Luis Obispo. But great analogy. Colin, all I do is analogies, bruh. All I do is analogies. So before we go, I'm going to double check the transfer portal one last time. Make sure nothing breaking's happened. Usually nothing great happens at this time of night. But I'm glad you guys were here so we could talk defensive linemen. It's important. And, yeah, see, I know the area. Man, I know this earth. I was blessed to know the entire country. But let's go check the headlines here. I don't even read headlines. I don't do this stuff. I don't care. Marcus Scott announces his commitment to Cal. Who determines somebody's a top 100 transfer? These guys have the worst transfer rankings you've ever seen. Let me tell you, if I pull this out, pause, and I go to transfer portal, and I go to football, forget the rankings down here. These rankings are atrocious. I'm just checking the tracker real quick. All right, they finally got E.J. Horton up here. They finally got Marcus Scott and Robbie Harrison. Okay. Caleb Brown. Okay, no big moves. All the big moves I know, they're on the tracker at the bottom of the screen for the most part. But if you guys ever see these rankings down here, they're telling me the second best transfer in the transfer portal is Aaron Anderson, a guy who was injured and didn't play at Bama and just transferred to LSU. This is your second best transfer. Your third is Bear Alexander. This is how they rank things. Devin Leary is fourth. This is insane. This is embarrassing. DJ Ungalele, fifth. Not even going to start. This is embarrassing. All this. This is nuts, bro. Tommy Brockermeyer couldn't even play at Alabama. Going to TCU, they're trying to tell me he's great. Sam McCall doesn't belong anywhere near the top 100. You know what Texas A&M's doing? Texas A&M is recruiting defensive backs like Sam McCall has never committed to them. They just keep recruiting defensive backs like Sam McCall doesn't exist. I promise you. They got Tony Grimes. Don't care. Don't care. Yeah, this is insane. The way they rate these things is gross. Jake Garcia's never played a game of football that matters. He's ranked ahead of a Davey O'Brien semifinalist in Tanner Mordecai. A Davey O'Brien semifinalist. Walker Howard's never played. Brennan Armstrong. Have you seen his stat line last year? Look at this quarterback they put up here. Have you seen his stat line? Brennan Armstrong, nephew to Danny Armstrong. Look at this stat line, bro. You guys ready for this? You guys ain't seen this. There's no way this guy is a top 25 quarterback. There's just no way. Look what he did last year. You guys see that? 7 touchdowns, 12 interceptions? Anybody see that? 7 touchdowns, 12 interceptions? Are you kidding me, bro? This is the guy, 54% completion percentage. This is the guy that you guys have the nerve to put in the rankings. Shout out to Rivals for not knowing their ass from a hole in the ground. It's embarrassing. I study these rankings sometimes. Just, this is worse than anything I've ever seen. I could scroll down here. Oh, there's Rondell Bothroyd. Oh, he went to Wake Forest. Purdue, Wake Forest, almost the same colors. He transferred to OU from Wake Forest. That's what it was. But this is crazy. The way they rank these guys should be a crime, bro. But nobody's holding them accountable. I am. Well, it was nice talking to everybody tonight. I hope you guys learned something about the defensive linemen. We're going to be chilling. We're going to be doing a lot of live streams from now on. Just trying to make you guys better. Hope you guys learned something. And smile a little. Oh, what is this? Give me a second here. That is not what I was looking for. And on that note, y'all.
Let's go. I ain't the first with the curse, with the thirst that I wanna be better, not worse, man it hurts. I'm on this earth with my words and I put them all together, insert, cause I wanna have worth. Working hella hard till they put me in the dirt. Gonna go far, man, listen to my words. Gonna be a star, man, life's like a blur. When you're working this hard till you get what you deserve. Yeah, I ain't taking a backseat, I'm passing anybody else who is rapping. I'm nasty, ain't nobody able to catch me. They gasping, they cannot compare, they can't match me. I'm at half speed, I got your girl and she laughing and dancing, hanging on my butt, she asking to crash with me, smash with me, she savage, she wants cash money, and she knows that I live lavishly, I wanna live, I'm cold inside, give all I have just to feel alive, I fight to live, I fight to strive, one day I'll have what I want. I want the whole world in the palm of my hand, I got a plan, I'm the man, now I'm teaching the game, a veteran, better than anybody else who tests me, I'm ready, looking at my hand and it's steady, I'm trending, ascending and blending, lyrical bending, now I'm spreading.